excited to introduce our next segment, our next speaker, because listen, how many? My buddy John said something earlier backstage. He said, you know, it actually works in our favor, but he said, you know, there's not a single person in this room, including me, that could explain what Dr. Eric just told us today. How many of y'all agree with that? That's a heavy lift, right? That's a lot of information, a lot of science, a lot of power. But that works in our favor because one of the biggest mistakes people make in this industry is they just say too much. They try to explain what they shouldn't be explaining. And how many of y'all agree it's much better to be able to send out a tool, right? Man, you can check out this video. Let this video do the work. Let this video do the presentation. Here's why I'm glad we're in pre-launch for the next 6 months. We have in this room today some of the most brilliant minds, marketers, content creators, video producers in this room today. And we're going to have a lot of time between now and the official launch in Dubai to really tighten this up, dial this in, really see what the market, what the messaging is, creating next level content on every single level. But driving all of that is a tool that we're excited to announce. Some of the leaders that you're going to hear from next came to us, said, hey, can we bring this tool into the ecosystem? We've used it before. It's the best marketing app out there to be able to share with people, share on social media, be able to track what's happening, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm excited because the founder of this company has been a friend of mine for well over 20 years. I was on the phone with him the other day, and my wife afterwards said, man, you're pretty fired up. Who were you talking to? And I said, well, that's my buddy Patrick. We're reconnecting, and I said he's the one friend that when I was making some bad decisions in my life, he was the one friend that called me on my shit, right? How many of y'all have that friend, right? And he told me the other day, he said, man, I hope that's not a bad thing. I hope that's a good thing. I said, bro, you came from a place of love. You came from a place of love, and you had the courage to say, right, those things. Well, he's a thinker. He sees the system of network marketing. How do we drive the right behaviors? And they've created a marketing app that just does a lot of amazing things. And so we're launching a Biolimitless direct app that they're developing for us. It's going to be a whole turnkey marketing system. There's going to be a total free version of the app for people to use. There's also a paid version that has some additional benefits and features. We're going to be incorporating the AI customer service into this app in the future as well. A lot of cool things behind this. So guys, help me welcome to stage the founder and creator of Rapid Funnels, one of the top networkers in this industry, and my good friend, Mr. Patrick Shaw.
Welcome to my house, baby, take control.
All right, brother, love you, man. All right. Who is ready to go to work? Right? I know some of you, they're going through the comp plan and you're like, this is unbelievable. I don't understand all of it, but I'm ready to go to work, right? So for those people that have a bias to action, we're going to talk about exactly what you have to do to crush it. I want to preface this talk, though, and tell you that, you know, for whatever this is worth, I just have an opportunity, very fortunate because of the platform and the tech and all that stuff, is we're in 20 different languages. We have employees in 11 countries around the world. I work with a lot of leaders, and I've never made this statement, but I have never seen the perfect storm that is brewing that's right here, right? And I say this for whatever that's worth, for two reasons. One is, you know, I grew up my mom owned a chain of health food stores in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. And way back in the day, she was so before her time. And so I grew up in that environment, and I saw the pharmaceutical industry try to take control of the vitamin industry. They wanted to make vitamin D and vitamin C and a bunch of other stuff, and a bunch of health food store owners and everybody else got together to fight it. But over the last couple decades, it hasn't stopped. Like, nobody has risen up to say there's a better way. That's number one. And I'm excited because that's what's happening. I mean, talking to Dr. Eric and hearing CJ today, how about that talk too? All of these guys, Patrick, it was awesome. Number two is I'll just speak about the industry for a second, networking. And there's some weird stuff going on right now in the industry that's moving away from the heart and soul of what networking is all about. And all you have to do is look at what just happened with a company, about a $4 billion company at one point. They got bought by private equity, and they just decided to disband their entire compensation plan. Rodan and Fields, right? Anybody know that story? So you put this on the blockchain and you do it through smart contracts, and all of a sudden, real networkers have a home. You can build something. You guys with me? It really is, it's just extraordinary. So I couldn't be more excited about the opportunity, and I want to see you guys just crush it because it'll be really good for the whole industry, frankly. So that's exciting. So how is that going to happen? What do you have to do to crush it, right? Well, most of you already know the story has to get told. At the end of the day, everything else is awesome, but the story has to get told. The Biolimitless story has to get told. And the more often it gets told, and the more consistently and the higher quality the follow-up is, the better off everybody is. Can we agree that if you tell the story twice as often, your business is going to be twice as large? It's pretty simple. Now, I grew up in an era, I'll date myself here, with Jeremy and John, Rabu. I mean, I feel like this is a family reunion a little bit, and so many other people, I shouldn't even mention names, but we grew up in an era where there was a fax, a phone, a meeting, a flip book, and a VHS tape. And so people are like, well, what do you do? Well, it's pretty simple. You can send them a fax, you can call them, you can meet them for coffee, right? This is, I mean, I don't even remember Starbucks being around then, which just seems kind of crazy. But it was a simple business. It's gotten more complex. But the story has to be told, number one. And I want to mention to you, especially you guys as leaders, how many people, just a show of hands, how many people have read this book? Thank you. That's awesome. You're a very smart lady. It's the number one, it's not written for network marketing, oddly enough. It's the number one best-selling business book in the world. Number one. How many number ones are there? Just one, right? And the book is pretty simple. It says if you want to achieve anything huge in business, well, you better have a wildly important goal. It starts with a wildly important goal. You got to have a dream. Biolimitless has one. You've heard about the CJ, the 2,000 stores, right? The 2,000 locations you're going to open in the next, 2 weeks. We're just kidding. It's 200. It's 21st, right? I heard them. But it says in every endeavor, no matter what it is, and you guys are builders. And hopefully you've committed to building. And if you have, then the book goes on to say you got to figure out what your lead measure is. Some people call it a key performance indicator, a KPI. What's the lead measure? The lead measure in this business is the quantity of the prospecting and the quality and the consistency of the follow-up. It's that simple, guys. Now, we know this. I know I'm speaking to the choir, but the story has got to get told. And the book says you can only have 2 or 3 lead measures. Everything else is organizing the desk. It's the whirlwind. It's tertiary. Everything else. If there's a third, it's teaching those first two. The quantity of the prospecting and the quality and consistency of the follow-up. Teaching it. Okay, and then you need a scorecard. We're going to show you through the Biolimitless Direct app, which you will be able to download today. We're going to show you that there's a scoreboard, and we're launching a leaderboard and a recognition board so we can gamify the number one thing that needs to be done, which is prospecting and follow-up. And then last but not least, only then you can create a real culture that's built around what matters the most, which is prospecting and follow-up, right? You can build a cadence of accountability. My sponsor 20-some years ago, and Jeremy, is not 20 years, bro. It's like 30 almost, right? But my sponsor, way back in the day, I was struggling. I'm complaining. He says, fax me your tracking sheet. There's 10 names on a piece of paper. I told him I'm working 20 hours a week. It takes 5 minutes to make a proper exposure. It's a lot less today, but 5 minutes times 10 names, because that's what I had on the sheet. I'm like, that's 50 minutes. I can do the math here. I told him I'm working 20 hours a week. He's going to ask me what I'm doing with the other 19 hours and 10 minutes. Guys, it's going to be on your app. You're going to know your activity, your team's activity. You can build a culture around that, okay? Now, I'm just going to try to simplify this. I'm not doing a training. I'm not demoing the app or any of that. It's awesome. You're going to be able to download it yourself. Look, here's what you need to know, is that these tools work. And most of these tools are the tools of a digital marketer. And here's one of the problems in networking today, is everybody's trying to be a digital marketer. And they're listening to some knucklehead on YouTube that says, hey, I got the secret of networking. You never have to talk to anybody. Like, really? Are you serious? Like, you think that's it? The whole power of networking is we all have relationships. When you get a new person started, they got 25 people they can reach out to. And if you take all the barriers away, and they can do that really simply, you win. So here's the problem. These tools are expensive. They're time consuming. You almost have to be an expert to use them. And then the digital marketer markets to the masses. And I'm not saying don't recruit an influencer. That's fine. They can do what they do. Just don't put them on the stage to teach everybody how to build. Right? Because they don't understand duplication. They don't understand simplicity. They don't understand the average person has 5 to 7 hours a week on a part-time basis. That's it. And you know what one of the great beauties of this is? I love this. How many of you think that you should learn to be any of the docs, right? How many of you think you should try and be, right, Dr. Naputi or CJ or Patrick? How many of you think you should do that and retell that story and you be the expert? Right, dude, those stories are so deep, we need to shut up and get people to hear that story. Right, we need to have the tools and get the story told, and it takes it out of our hands. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, so here's a different model. There's the toolbox of all these digital marketers, right? Now there's a problem with that is they're expensive, time and consuming to build, but what if I told you they're already all built? And it's just the beginning. When you download the app, everything is built in. You don't have to write the surveys, create the lead magnet pages, right? You could sign up for ClickFunnels, a CRM, Aweber, or Constant Contact to email all those people, right? You could pay for all those tools, try to get them to work with each other. It's all built. You're going to download it, and it's got your picture. All the data comes back to you. It's got all your social feeds, your Calendly link, and the link to your back office. When you're going to be on a Zoom presentation and Dr. Naputi's crushing it, he's not going to have to say, get back to the person that invited you. He's going to say, click on the link at the bottom, and it's going to go to your back office so they can sign up because you're the one that did the inviting to that Zoom, even though you're all on the same Zoom. Is that crazy? Right? It's built. Now, you might come and say, well, I could do this a little better. Even for the leader that says that, I have a solution for you too. But do you understand it's about speed and duplication? It's not about perfection. Okay, so there is a standard free version, which is important because some people come in and let them download the app and get the tools they need to get things rolling. You guys are leaders. I'm just going to talk about the pro version. I'm going to show you a few of the features. It's ridiculously inexpensive. It's month to month. There's zero contract. If it doesn't work, don't use it. It's going to work. It's worked over and over and over again. So I'm going to talk about a few of those features specifically in the platform and then show you how to download it. Here's just a quick example. I'm not saying these pages are perfect. It's our first run at them, but we'll have all the data. We won't know which of your prospects filled out the forms, right? We won't know their names, phone numbers, or emails, but we'll know how many minutes of the video they watched. We'll know if they clicked on it. We'll tell you when they clicked on it. If you post this to social media and 5 people fill it out, it'll show up in your CRM. They'll drop into an email campaign from you to the prospect automatically. They'll fill out a survey. You'll get the answers to the survey so you know how to follow up with them based on what their interest is. Are you guys following me? Okay, so here's two examples. One's a little more direct, right? One is, hey, are you tired of all the healthcare BS? The other one is seeking clear, honest health solutions, right? Your picture's there, a statement, all your social feeds are down at the bottom, your Calendly link, everything else. You can use it anywhere you want. Anytime somebody fills it out, the app notifies you you have a new prospect. If they start watching more and more information because they dropped into an email campaign and it's a year from now and their health is turning south and you've been staying in touch with them, the algorithm in the platform will tell you who your hottest prospects are and when you should follow up with them. Good? Okay. All right, so there's an example, 2 different pages. We're going to see what you guys use. We're going to see what the prospects fill out. We're going to take the one that underperforms and we're going to replace it with something we think is better, and we're going to see how it performs. Effectively A/B testing a bunch of stuff. When they fill out that first page, I'm giving you one example. I want you to understand this. I'm giving you one quick example of how this works. When they fill out that first page, whether you sent it to them one-on-one or posted it to social, there's a pre-written message that goes in front of it, right? And you can send it on any social platform. You can text that pre-written message or that email. I jotted down, Jeremy told me he was just brainstorming last night, and he started to put together an invitation. He just said, hey, I just came across a company that has a genetic test. And he went through this super short script you could text somebody, and I'm like, dude, that is so good. You could text it to anybody. You could text his little script to your sister, to the doctor. You could text it to almost anybody. And he's so good at copy. And so he wrote it. We just loaded it in there. Now, can you take a brand new people and have a brand new person that joins and have them send it to 25 people? You sure could. They respond, and you turn around and send this page I showed you before, right? And then they come to this page, and then they hear directly from Doc. Isn't that crazy? And he recorded it specifically for that digital marketing page. He opens up and it mirrors what the page says. Now, if I hear that message growing up the way I grew up and everything else, I'm like, dude, when I heard, one of the first things I heard is he got in trouble with the powers that be over the COVID issue, and I'm like, I like this dude already. I mean, I just knew. I knew I was going to like him, right? And he crushes it in this video. And then step 2 is take the self-care survey. Then they take a survey. You get all the answers. And then they turn around, check your email for more info, and they're in your email campaign. Nobody else. We know the opt-in rate, the play rate, the engagement rate, the open rate. Do you think we can improve every single email in that campaign? If you talk to somebody and they don't get started, do you think it's the wrong time or it's the wrong person? It's not what do you call it? It's not a trick. Do you think, if you talk to somebody about Biolimitless, do you think it's the wrong person or it's probably just the wrong time? And if you drop them in a campaign and they're getting frequent messages from you about Dr. Eric and they start watching, do you think soon, and you know when they're watching, do you think it might help you follow up in a timely fashion? Okay. Listen, there is a contest. I'm going to say that and have Josh just talk a little bit about it. There is a leaderboard, and there's a whole bunch on the table for you to be able to participate in that leaderboard. Now, there is one other thing I want to mention before I wrap up and show you how to download the app. How many of us know that getting a new person started and getting a check in their pocket in the first 90 days is one of the most important things you can do? Right? How many people also realize, as simple as the model can be, there's a little more complexity when you start talking about a credit card to a wallet, purchasing a product, and you've got to walk people through this process and explain it. But what if in the app, right, where I've got all my contacts at my fingertips, I can click on a contact and I can send them the Fast Start to Success page. They just got started. Every single step is on the page. You know what steps they're taking. You know where they get stuck, and it walks them through how to set up the wallet so you don't have to do it the 450th time. Right? It's right there, and we can keep perfecting every single step of that process. Now, some of these things I'm telling you about, like the free secrets pages to generate leads and follow up, and these are pro versions. The brand new person doesn't need all that, maybe. But you do, so that's what I'm focused on. That Fast Start to Success is going to make your life way easier on the onboarding side of things, okay? Now, last thing here for those leaders that are going, listen, Patrick, seriously, I'm a builder. I know how to create culture. I'm a brilliant marketer. I'm going to put 5,000 people on my team in no time flat. I need control. Okay, fine. Taylor is standing right over there. Where are you, Taylor? He's right over in the corner. Taylor Radway, he's the account exec that works directly with the Biolimitless app. If you're that leader and you're like, listen, I want my own welcome video. When people download the Biolimitless Direct app, I want to say congratulations, welcome aboard. We got the best team on the planet, and we're going to help you crush it. And you want contests, and you want your own coaching, and you want your own events, and with compliance approval, you want your own resources, you can do all of that within this platform. You guys with me? You know who you are. And putting that aside for a second, I'm just asking you, for the greater good of the whole organization, man, don't get caught in the weeds. Don't overthink it. We're kind of good at this. And you've got some people back there who are the best in the industry at marketing and systems and duplication. They get it at a level very, very few leaders in this industry do. Trust the process. Okay, this is how you download the app. It's very simple. There's a little, sorry Google users, which I'm one of. I'm probably like one of, well, Jeremy and I, and who else is on an Android phone? All right. If you're on Apple, just go right now to Biolimitless Direct in the App Store. It's going to ask for a group code. The group code is B Direct. The letter B Direct, no spaces, all lowercase. Very simple. Download the app, start answering the questions. If you're on Android, you got to wait a few days for the Biolimitless app to show up in the store. In the meantime, you can go to Rapid Funnel, right? We built all the stuff has been built out for you guys and branded, but it's not in the App Store yet. So we've built everything. You can go to Rapid Funnel and the same thing, download the Rapid Funnel app, but when it asks for the group code, put in B Direct. Okay? Good? All right. On that note, I am going to bring up the first person who, again, one of these guys I have known for 30-some years, and he understands. He's one of those people I'm talking about, like Jeremy Roma, who they just understand what makes this model work, and they want people to win. More than anything else, they want to help people win. And so it is my privilege to bring up my good friend, brother, Josh Denne.
Patrick Shaw, ladies and gentlemen. Is that amazing? That's like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito over here.
I wish I was built like Josh.
I tell you what, this is probably one of the best technologies I've ever taken a look at in my career. And the reason why I think it is that way is because you have someone like Patrick who's been in the field. So for those of you that have built in the trenches of this business. It's not a simple business. And I've met a lot of technologists or people who are brilliant in technology, who know how to build cool things. And from the outside, when you look at the space, it seems a lot more simple than it is. And so they build this cool tech and try to fit into what it is that we do. But they leave out all the little nuances, all the things that actually really matter and drive the psychological behavior that creates not only sales and revenue, but creates replication. It creates replication at scale, because there's so much that is required in our communication with people that we care about. We're in the relationship marketing. We're not in some automated business where you can just automate a relationship. Anyone married in the room? By show of hands? How many know that you can't automate that? Some of you would if you could. Hold on real quick. I got to do this. Okay, I hung up. It was my daughter. I was just going to give her a little. Anyway, you can't automate this type of business. So you got someone who's built in the field, who's actually done it. So every piece of this is so critical to enrolling people in a proper way. But like this, how many people like me are a screenaholic? Screenaholic Anonymous, raise your hand. Come on, some of you are like on the screen right now. You're like, what are you talking about? I'm not. I see you. We see the light on your face. It's because we're here. But what if there was a way where you could be on your app every day and something that actually makes you money instead of a social media platform?
Guys, look, Facebook and YouTube, they own your data. So when you prospect there, that's fine, but they're selling advertising to the nearest competitor to a DNA test. So use Facebook. Don't let them use you. Get them out. Use that page I showed you and get it out of Facebook into a private channel.
Exactly. So when you get up, I know for a lot of you get up and you're on your social media. You're looking at it. How do I know? Because I do it. And I see you there. We're there together. You're commenting right back. This is something that we're going to get used to, opening it up, and we're in there, and this is going to make you money. And not only is it going to make you money, it's going to help you spread something positive and happy, and you get to collect that information. Now, how many have ever been to Dubai? Great place. How many want to go to Dubai? How many would like to go to Dubai if, say, your hotel room was already paid for, a 5-star resort? Be pretty cool, little incentive to get there. How many would like a business class flight to Dubai? You know, flying to Dubai 16 hours from at least here is a whole lot different in business class than it is in coach. I've done both, and I like business class way better. How many would like the business class flight and the hotel room all taken care of? We're gonna have a contest that you can see on the app that can help you do that. In a very short period of time, you're gonna learn about a contest. You're gonna learn about a few very simple things that you can do and monitor on your app that can help you qualify for that. We're gonna show you how to do that. What's great about this application, Patrick, is you have a leaderboard. And in that leaderboard, I can track it every day. There's no question as to what to do. I'll know what to do and how to do it. And I wanna introduce a person who has been a master at this. I mean, he got this app from Patrick. I know you guys worked a long time to get it to this point, but him and his wife are truly masters. And what I realize about this space is, if we could marry the best of technology, the best of internet marketing, with the best of relationship marketing and networking, you'd have a home run. And John did that. He started figuring it out and started having great results, not just for himself. So some of us are used to some of the old school ways of doing business, but some of the younger people, some of the millennials and younger millennials and Gen Zs, they don't want to do what we do, especially when they see some people just doing this and making millions. They just do this. How many people can?
Look, John will tell his story about Nash, his wife, but she's an introvert. She was the last person to go out. And I'll let him tell
exactly.
the story.
I mean, sharing information like this is where people are, and this is what to do. He's knocked it out of the park in this space, understands this app inside and out, so he's gonna be able to share you from a distributor perspective or just from a regular person. You're like, how do I make money without going and talking to friends, family? How do I go make money without being weird or being a doctor? He knows exactly how to do that. And not only does he know how to do that, he's built massive organizations around the world. He's done billions in sales. He's made a fortune, but he's helped a lot of people doing it. He's a great friend of mine. I love him and I respect him. And that's none other than Mr. John Millett.
Guys, just stop it. Everybody know I'm a monster.